All right. What did we learn yesterday? Let's think about it. The one thing I'll tell you when we make these bets is it's the same thing that poker players ask for. When you say, what are you hoping for before you enter a big tournament? They'll say the same thing. They'll say, no bad beats. That's what they're going to say. And so in this situation, what we want when we handicap games is we just want normal outcomes. What's an example of something that's not a normal outcome? We don't want Namari Burnett to have 15 points in the first 5 minutes of the game against St. John's. It's just a variable that we didn't account for. So up and down night last night, folks. Overall, pretty good. Wouldn't say it was bad at all. Lost a little bit, but we've been so scalding hot, we knew some regression was coming. No problem, undaunted. We are headed back today to a fantastic slate here at FTN College Basketball Hoops. We are ready to rock and roll. Here we go. Let's get into it. North Dakota State, it's now plus 4.5 versus UC Davis. This is a fascinating matchup. This one's going off early. I think it's going off at what, 4:30, I think? Yeah, this game's going off 4 o'clock. All right. This matchup is in Montana. Now, UC Davis is led by one person and one person only. All right. The key is, are we going to get killed by Elijah Pepper? Elijah Pepper is a fantastic scorer, dynamic player, just had 23 points against Montana in a loss that just happened on Sunday, 4 of 9 from three-point range. He's very, very flammable. However, they are massive turnover-prone team. And that's what I'm banking on here. North Dakota State is going to be methodical. North Dakota State can also shoot threes. What I like about North Dakota State also is they're coming off a big-time battle with Creighton where they were actually fairly competitive for most of that game. Solid, good rebounding team, very good with steals, aggressive with their hands, and if they get up, they can really grind this game down. I don't trust UC Davis with the turnovers. I don't think Pepper's going to beat me today, so I'm going with North Dakota State. Plus, it's I think it's 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 now. This line's gone the other way, but I have no problem with that. North Dakota State, not a massive amount, a little bit amount, but I want to get off to a good start here. We'll take them. The only way we lose this game is if Pepper beats us. That's the only way we're going to lose this game. I'd like to welcome in Niall Mimosa. Coffee, Niall, coffee. Frustrated last night. Didn't like Doug McDaniel. Doug McDaniel's good. We're going to be doing some props with Doug McDaniel later in the year, but Michigan looks better. And again, when Burnett went nuts, I knew I was in kind of trouble. There's the first game. Next game, I'm going money line with Wisconsin. Wisconsin has looked very good. They played Tennessee, and we know the deal with Tennessee. Early on in the season, Rick Barnes is tremendous. It's very tough to account for his style. He does a fantastic job. Again, sustained success. Tennessee fans will tell you he hasn't won the big one. Okay, but he's won every single year. They are the preseason favorite in the SEC, and that game was very close against a tough Tennessee team. Prior to that, they put up 105 points against Arkansas State. So I think Wisconsin comes in here and plays well against Providence. Providence didn't look great against Columbia. Providence didn't look great against Milwaukee. Providence has a first-year coach in Kim English. Providence has turnover trouble. Providence struggles to score. Providence can't make free throws. Enough. I think Wisconsin is the veteran team. I think they're the better team. I think got their attention coming off a loss. I like Wisconsin in the spot. I like them a lot. Took them right away on the money line. I'm fine laying up to 2 points in this matchup. Really interesting game here. This is a fascinating game between Holy Cross and Sacred Heart. I'm going with Sacred Heart in this matchup, and I think the line has moved against us, for us rather, in this matchup. Sacred Heart, Anthony Latina, has done a solid job with Sacred Heart in the NEC, but he hasn't gotten over the hump. He has a veteran team. He has a deep team. He plays 10 players, and this is a critical game because I think Sacred Heart should get this matchup. This is going to be a slow, tough game. Both teams can play. Holy Cross just beat Georgetown, so you have that coming in. They also lost at Siena by 2. This is a good Holy Cross team as well, coached by Dave Pawson. Dave Pawson, longtime coach at Bucknell, did a real great job. Then he went to George Mason. Then he took a couple years. Now he's back at Holy Cross, was dominating this division, really high on Holy Cross, but there's a lot of turnover there. And I think the win over Georgetown was more about a fade for Georgetown than it was for Holy Cross. This is a critical matchup. Sacred Heart is a quality team. Nico Gillette, fantastic player, dominant, like sort of NEC preseason player of the year caliber. That's the player that they're looking at here. They're very strong across the board. They can shoot threes. Gillette had 20 and 10 and 4 assists and 4 steals. This is a veteran squad. He's got Alex Sobel, the transfer in, who can make some shots as well. I am backing Latina. This is not for the faint of heart. It reminds me of Florida Atlantic versus Memphis last year in the first round of the NCAA tournament. This is going to be a very close game, but I believe in Latina. I believe this is the year for Sacred Heart, and I think Gillette's the best player on the floor, and I think they get the win, but this is going to be a close matchup. It's a great matchup, small school matchup if you're junkies like myself. I don't believe in Syracuse yet. I don't believe in Syracuse yet. I need to see it with Adrian Autry. Colgate always has a history of playing well in these matchups up in Syracuse. Last year, they beat them 80-68 away in Syracuse. You want to say Syracuse is going to be focused on this one? I get it. But Colgate plays that style where they can make threes. They're disciplined. Keegan Reckers is still there, who's a nightmare inside. They have players that can shoot from deep. You had multiple players like Moffitt and Luis Jaquez, who is a great shooter. Went 2 for 3 in their win over Brown. Again, Colgate Brown, slow matchup. What you have here is a lot of aggressive man-to-man from Syracuse under Adrian Autry, trying to reestablish themselves with Jim Boeheim not there anymore. I will take Colgate. I will take the points here with Syracuse. Syracuse could be better than I think, but I don't think so. It's early on, so we have limited information in these matchups. I'm taking a Syracuse team here. We got the cover with Canisius. They played well. They didn't look tremendous against New Hampshire. That game was kind of close. New Hampshire is not near the caliber of Colgate. Colgate plays well in these matchups, interstate matchup at Syracuse. They won last year. I think Autry will have them fired up. Syracuse probably gets out to an early lead, but I think they close the gap here, and Colgate could pull the upset as well. I'm going to continue to fade West Virginia until further notice. And look, I got this line last night. I know it's at 7.5, and there's a reason that it's going down here. I like Jacksonville State against West Virginia. Jacksonville State is a strong, rebounding, aggressive team on the interior. They played Utah Tech, and they lost at home, which is going to throw everybody off their scent. But they are tough inside. They're great on the offensive boards, and they're great on defense at forcing turnovers. I still have an issue with West Virginia. You saw them lose to Monmouth. We called that one easy, no problem. They don't have an identity. Kirk Kriisa is still not there. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative, to be honest with you, the way Kirk Kriisa is. But I'm going with Jacksonville State. This line is dropped to 7.5. I'm fine. Wouldn't want to go to 6, 5.5. But right now I'm still taking it, fading West Virginia. We have teams that we like. We have teams that we fade, and until further notice, we're not going to change. Maybe we change at Michigan. We're not changing right now. West Virginia, going to fade them again. Missouri State shot really poorly in that opening game against West Virginia, and they only won by 8. You saw what Missouri State did last night. Monmouth comes in, kicks their fanny all over the place. Now they're home to Jacksonville State. I'll take the points with Jacksonville State. I see the comments coming. I'll get to those in a minute. This one may shock you if you're new here, but if you're not new, then it's not going to shock you because, folks, who remembers the Ooey Pooey train from last year? That's right. Indiana University and Purdue University at Indiana. Ooey Pooey, for those that go there, 19-11 against the spread last year. And what's funny about that for IUPUI is their overall record last year. This is one of the anomalies. 5-27. 5-27, 2-18 in the horizon. Now they're back this year. Veteran team, healthy. 10 players deep. Matt Crenshaw, the alumnus, is coaching them. They had a big 10-point win at Valpo. Indiana State is a team that historically does very well at home. They're like Bradley in that respect, the Sycamores. But this is a lot of points for an Indiana State team that lost their top 3 scorers. Remember Courvoisier last year? Those top 3 guys are gone. They're still adjusting. It's a lot of points. Not going to be packed, not going to be a fired-up arena. I will take IUPUI with the 17.5 points at Indiana State, coming off the fact they were 19-11 last year and a cover machine. Matt Crenshaw had some injuries. He's got his whole team back. They do a great job on defense. They're locking teams down from three-point range. They're great inside on the interior. They're great on the offensive boards. Like it a lot. Yeah, I'm going back to Michigan State. Look, Duke last year was a concern for me, and I think we did fine with Duke, except for that run in the middle of the season. They're still feeling their way out here with John Shire. Bad loss to Arizona at home. And in that matchup, here's my issue. Jeremy Roach is great. Solid, veteran, senior, great scorer off the ball. We like Proctor. Proctor's going to be a lottery pick. But is Proctor, much like Ryan Dunn at Virginia, is he ready to take over the game? He's not taking over this game in Chicago, not against a veteran backcourt. And listen, I know that Tyson Walker, who's phenomenal, I love Tyson Walker, and Hogarth and Akins have not shot well. They have not shot well from three. I understand that. That will change because they were the third best three-point shooting team in the nation last year, Michigan State. That will get better. I am taking Michigan State +4. You know the old rule, Izzo can't beat Krzyzewski. Krzyzewski's not there anymore. Filipowski's going to be dominant. Mark Mitchell was okay, still a little banged up inside, and this is not a deep Duke team. Look at their rotation against Arizona. Roach, Proctor, both played 37-plus minutes. Filipowski's great, tremendous player. Mitchell wasn't fantastic. Jared McCain was just okay. And the bench, you have Ryan Young, and that's about it. I like Michigan State. I think they're going to the Final Four. I recognize they have trouble. They need Malik Hall to play well. I'm taking the 4 points at Michigan State tonight against Duke. Chattanooga lives and dies by the 3. I think this line has dropped. Last night, I think it was 10. I love the Bellarmine system. And even though Bellarmine's off to an 0-2 start, I'm not fading them under Scott Davenport. They played tough away at Kansas State. They lost that one. They played to Washington, got blown out a little bit. But they have a classic, cut, backdoor, solid, disciplined style, and Chattanooga has the variance. Chattanooga's going to shoot the threes. They're going to live by the 3. They're going to die by the 3. They beat Louisville away. Nice win there, but that's more about Louisville than it is about them. They need to shoot the 3, and they rely on it for heavy, heavy volume. Bellarmine should be able to defend it. Bellarmine gets a lead. Chattanooga doesn't have a great shooting night. I can easily see Bellarmine winning this game. Give me the 7 points with Bellarmine at Chattanooga. Chattanooga's either going to win this game by 30 points because they're going to make all their threes, or they're going to lose. I'll take the latter. Give me Bellarmine +7 points. Not sure about Alabama covering big spreads this year. Not really sure about that with Alabama yet. Alabama gave up 80 points to Indiana State, okay, who I said was missing their top 3 scores. Alabama put 100 on Morehead State. Well, here comes South Alabama, okay, and they played this game last year away at South Alabama, and Alabama won by 10. So don't sleep on the fact that it's a rivalry game here with a South Alabama team that just went up to Buffalo. And even though Buffalo's down this year, Buffalo's not an easy place to play. South Alabama goes up there, beats them by 14 points, beat them pretty solidly here. 3-point shooting, Maxwell Land was solid. Marcus Melinder, the 5'11" freshman, super quick, 15 points, had 3 steals. They can pressure the ball. Alabama can get sloppy as well. This year with Alabama, they're putting a lot on the shoulders in their first game with Aaron Estrada, who's been all over the place. I saw Aaron Estrada in high school, saw Aaron Estrada. He's played at a bunch of different places. Played at Hofstra, was good. He was at Oregon. He was at St. Peter's. I'm not sure about that. I like Mark Sears. I like Grant Nelson inside. Not really sold on their bench. Also don't like their turnovers. Like the rivalry. 20? It's a lot of points. Take South Alabama. Don't like Illinois. I like Marquette. That's as simple as this matchup is. I like Tyler Kolek and I like Cam Jones in this game. Now, it's a true road game and it's on the road, and I expect Illinois to be grabbing a lot of the money here, but I'm going with a Marquette team that I think can light it up. Cam Jones has been on fire. In his last game, 23 points, 5 of 11 from three-point range. This is an interesting Illinois team. They beat Oakland at home in a close game. Eastern Illinois, they handled pretty easily. But what we need here is Terrence Shannon is still serving as point guard. And I have questions about Terrence Shannon as a true point guard. You know Coleman Hawkins. You can have the great Coleman Hawkins. You can have the bad Coleman Hawkins. They have Marcus Dumask, who transferred. Dumask transfers from Southern Illinois, again, transferring up, and he's the big man inside. They're relying on him a lot in this situation, that he's going to be a key player for them. But when you have players that transfer up, I always get nervous. So I'm not sold on Illinois. Yes, historically, they've been good at home. Yes, they have Shannon in the backcourt. He's flammable. Coleman Hawkins can be feast or famine. Here comes a good Marquette team that plays defense, that has probably maybe the best point guard in the country in Tyler Kolek, a hot Cam Jones, Shaka Smart, underdog. I'm going to take Marquette +1.5 at Illinois. Yeah, I never lay points on the road in interstate rivalry games, but I am going to do it with Texas A&M because I think Texas A&M right now, pound for pound, Texas A&M to me is the best team in the Southeast Conference. I think they're better than Tennessee. I think Buzz Williams has his team really focused. That was a nice win, 73-66 on the road to Ohio State, pounded Texas A&M Commerce. Now SMU is 3-0. They've had some nice wins. They've played well. They're defending really well. So this is going to be a slop game. 5.5 is a lot, so this isn't one of my top most invested games, but I do like Texas A&M on the road at SMU. I think they get it done here. SMU has Texas A&M and West Virginia. They're going to be fired up for this game, but I think Texas A&M pulls away, second half, 10-minute mark, about 7-8 points, and bring it home from there. They just have firepower. They're great on defense. I think their defense is better than SMU's defense, and I think they have enough shot makers here with Henry Coleman, Wade Taylor, Tyrese Radford, all of which had 20 points or more. Even Wildens Levesque, who transferred over, he's a decent player inside. I like Texas A&M in this matchup. I can't lay 23 points with Northwestern ever. I can't. Not when they lost Chase Audige, not when they play at that snail's pace that they like to play at. Love Boo Buie. He's a fantastic player. I can't lay 23 points with Northwestern. Not the way they play. Western Michigan, Georgia State, North Dakota State home. They lost that one close game. I think they can put some points up here, and it's just a rule. I'm not laying that many points with a Northwestern team that oftentimes can struggle to score. They turned Dayton into a slop fest. Brooks Barnheiser, 13 points. Ryan Langboard, 19 points from Princeton. Hot three-point shooter, Boo Buie. That's pretty much it. They don't have a ton of other players outside of that. So it's Buie, it's Barnheiser, it's Langhorne. Langhorne, you saw at Princeton, can be hot and cold. Just too many points for me. Straight up Northwestern, 23.5. I just don't see it. And even last year, when you looked at them when they had Audige, their early round games, they won by 17 against Northern Illinois home. They won Purdue-Fort Wayne by 8. They beat Liberty Neutral by 14. They're just not a team that blows a lot of people out. They blew DePaul out because they get scalding hot. So I recognize Buie could have 6 threes tonight. Barnheiser could be hot. Langboard could be hot. The other way around, 23.5 just seems way too high for me. I'm not comfortable laying that many points with them. Anybody worried about Vanderbilt? It's just me. Just me worried about Vanderbilt here? 2.5 with a good UNCG team that is well coached. I'm going to take UNCG against Vanderbilt plus 2.5. Vanderbilt should get their players back. They struggled against Presbyterian. They got healthy. Ezra Manjon is still a fantastic point guard, but very concerning against that Presbyterian loss at home. And UNC Greensboro, always very good. Mike Jones does a great job. They love to shoot the three. They love to get up and down the floor, and they're great on the defensive boards here. I think Vanderbilt has issues on offense. I think UNCG is the better balanced team. I am taking UNC Greensboro away at Vanderbilt plus 2.5. Always tough place to play, but I think they have the guards, and I think they have the shooting to do it. And they're also great from the free throw line, UNCG. This was a tough one. Bill Self on the road is just such a good pick in so many ways. This is a Kentucky team, and I liked, and we've been able to get to the window twice with them now to start the season. But Kansas is just rolling with the veterans, with DeJuan Harris in the backcourt. KJ Adams looks like a rejuvenated player, not having to guard the center, playing as the 4 on the wing. Kevin McCullough has started the year hot. It's a lot of points. I get it, and it's uncomfortable. And a lot of books have it at 6.5, 7 right now. I don't know if I go to 7, but I'm going to lay the points with Kansas minus 5.5. It's just Bill Self in these spots early in the year. He's got a veteran team. Hunter Dickinson inside is a matchup nightmare for Kentucky. I just like them on the road. They have been great money on the road within conference, especially. Now they're playing Kentucky in Chicago, second game of the Champions Classic. It's a lot. I'd like it at 3, a lot better. I'm going to lay the 5.5 points with Kansas here. No problem. Only a couple games left, guys, and I'll get to your questions and comments. I see them flying in. No problem. We'll get to them shortly. Is San Diego State coming off a loss at home? An angry San Diego State team? Yeah, I'm buying into it. This is a team that was in the championship game last year. They lost to BYU away. In that matchup, BYU 10 of 27 from three-point range. Long Beach State is going to have to repeat that at home against San Diego State. That's not happening. The Beach has been pretty good. Had a nice win over DePaul, but we know, I forget who the sub is who loves fading DePaul. We know it's more about DePaul here. I'm going to lay the points with San Diego State minus 13. I think they bounce back in a big way here. Look great against Cal State Fullerton. You're going to beat them there at home. in San Diego. Good luck. 13 points. I'm laying it with Long Beach State. No problem there at all. And then the last game we'll get to, it's at 14. I think it's at 18 now. I'm not laying 18 points with Stan Johnson. And Loyola Marymount has these games where they get on fire from 3-point range. So if they're hot from 3 early, you may want to go live line and try to get some of this money back. But Jackson State, that's a lot of points. Loyola Marymount with Stan Johnson lost at home to Yale. They still have Leia Pepe inside, who's a real solid player. But I just think 18 points is too much with Jackson State. Jackson State played away at Memphis, struggled. San Diego away, lost. Cal Baptist lost. But Mo Williams loves to challenge his team at Jackson State. He have a very strong non-conference schedule. Loyola Marymount, Tulsa, Missouri, Georgetown. They're playing Houston. I mean, he plays everybody. They got Gonzaga away. So they're not going to be intimidated. He knows what he's getting his team into. I think this is up to 18 right now, and I'm going to grab it at that number because I don't think Loyola Marymount's going to blow them out. They have had games last year where they shoot the three really well and they get hot and they blow them out. But this is a different team. The only 3-point shooters that are really consistent for them, Justin Wright can be good. Justice Hill can be good. That's about it. They got Dominic Harris coming off the bench. I just don't think they have the firepower that they had last year to cover this matchup. So depending on how the day goes, we may not invest in this one because this is a late 9-1. But if we're around 500, may take a shot with 18 and Jackson State. Let's get to the questions here across the board. Here we go. Let's see. Al, we're always here for you, Al. Don't worry about it. We'll always be here for you. Michael, Wisconsin, I loved it. I liked the under initially, I believe. Yeah, Michael, the problem is I've struggled with over-unders early. There's a lot. I talked to this with Greg Peterson on his show, Coast to Coast Hoops. The overs are hitting. When I'm hitting unders, I'm losing them in the last minute or two because of the fouls. So stayed away from this one. In theory, you would think that this would be an under matchup, but I'm not sure. The totals have been up and down. I got to do more work on that. So no feel on the total there, but I do like Wisconsin. Tarleton State at Bradley. Yeah, Austin, I thought Bradley. What's the spread in that game right now? What's the updated spread? My read was Bradley to go back to them at home. I mean, they won, but I don't think they covered the initial number. It was at 5. Bradley here. Where is Bradley? There it is. Yeah, it's 9.5. It's going down a little bit. Tarleton's not terrible. My lean would be Bradley to see them bounce back here, but it was a stay away from me. We'll see how the day goes. Maybe we'll invest in that one later on. Probably not. Nile, it's a big number, Nile. That's what it was in Florida Atlantic. I wanted to lay it. I did, but I think is it creeping up to 27, I think. Florida Atlantic, 27 was a little high. It was a little high for my like. It's 27 right now with Eastern Michigan. We could get backdoor covered on that because this is a team that has been dominating for so long. They could easily put the second unit in and give that lead up late. So 27 is a little high. If it's 23, 21, I'd go for it. 27, it's a stay away. Unders have been killing me, though. Same thing, Al. That's why I'm just nervous about it. Colgate, yeah, they've won the last 2 meetings against Syracuse, which means you're going to have Syracuse's attention. I just don't think that their defense is at the point where they're going to be able to limit Colgate, and Rutgers is still an issue on the interior. Taylor, I'm on the UMass low bandwagon this year. Both against Georgia Tech tonight. I looked at that one, Taylor. My issue with that, let me pull that up. I did look at that one, and UMass Lowell has been very good building off of last year, especially. My problem is you could be in a situation where Kwesi Reeves and Miles Kelly take over the game. Miles Kelly could have 30 tonight. So I like UMass Lowell. I do. This one concerns me a little bit. So, yeah, they beat Dartmouth, which was a real nice win on the road. I could get there with them against Georgia Tech. Just concerned about Kelly and Reeves blowing it up here tonight. So was a stay away from me. IUPUI is a much better team. There is a much better team. They're close to me. Yeah, Mike, I like IUPUI. I love their defense. I love what the coach is doing there as an alum. They're aggressive. I think the line's too high. Indiana State at home is normally very good, but they lost their top 3 scorers. There's a lot of turnover, and this is a veteran IUPUI team that is deep and plays defense. I wouldn't be surprised you want to sprinkle on the money line, to be honest. Don, you want to help with the game at 3 o'clock? Maybe it's 3 o'clock your time. Is it the 4 o'clock game? I got it at 4 here. Yeah, I'm taking North Dakota State with the 4.5. Coin flip game. I'm worried about Pepper, Don. The Pepper can go off. He can score 30 points and wreck the game. But because they have so many turnovers against North Dakota State, who just went down and played Creighton, so they've played a quality team. This is a neutral court. I'll grab the points with the neutral court. No shooters lost to JMU. Yeah, Holiday, here's my issue. I believe in veterans. I believe in head coaches like Izzo, and I believe in regression. I think because they can't shoot the ball or they haven't shot it well lately, that you're getting an inflated line. Plus, the public's going to be on Duke all over the place. That's why this line is going up. We sure Duke is that good? Based on what? A great recruiting class? Doesn't Kentucky have a great recruiting class every year? Michigan State last year shot 38% from three-point range. So these are players who can shoot it, who have shot it. I'm betting on regression here tonight. That's why I'm taking the 4 points. Don, yep, told you North Dakota State plus the 4.5. Yeah, I think Kolek's going to play, Brian, but if Tyler Kolek doesn't play, then obviously this is a change for me. We had Soriano was a game time decision, and he played. Didn't really matter that much last night. I think Kolek's going to play. If he somehow is out in this matchup and this line's going to go berserk, I would go with Illinois there, even though the line will probably over-adjust. When you see a star player go out, oftentimes the lines over-adjust to a point where it's ridiculous, but probably a fade for me if he doesn't play. That's it, folks. That's our games here. We're going to be back on Friday. The Saturday slate is a little smaller than normal. We'll be back on Friday, same time. We'll bring it to you here, folks. As always, love the support. Join us here at FTN. We're having a ton of fun. We will be back with you on Friday. Let's get to the window. Let's get our momentum going here. Scalding hot. Last night, a little up and down. Let's get back on the right side today. Thanks for joining me as always.